What's up, everybody? It's Ghostsol here with Dbenitez87. Is that still your name on the RT?
That is still my name.
Okay,
that is me,
just
by the
making
way.
sure.
So
Hey, that's you.
that is still me.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, and this is weird. We're doing a two-man commentary for why you should play.
Yeah, well, I mean, today's video is about The Evil Within. Ooh,
Yes.
spooky.
That's one of the first couple of videos I've done with you.
Yeah, actually, I did a lot of those achievement guides back in the day in the Community Hunter channel. And you know what? Like, although the game is fun and exciting and all that type of stuff, it's kind of nice to go down and maybe break down the game a little bit more. I've actually written out some categories, so I've prepared for this.
All right, I'm ready.
So
tell me why I should play.
Okay, you're going along with this just as I had planned, because I was going to be like, you have never played The Evil Within before, correct?
I have never played it. The
Never
only
played
I've seen is the gameplay video that you've done.
Okay, so reasons to play The Evil Within. Did you like Resident Evil 4?
That is my favorite Resident Evil, yes.
And scene. Thank you for all for watching, and
All right.
tune in next time for more.
That's a great video right there.
Okay, so what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to tell you about the game, in my opinion, and I'm going to once again break down the story, gameplay, and atmosphere that the game conveys. And at the end of this, hopefully you will want to play this game.
All right, let's do it. I'm ready.
All right, so first of all, let's start with the story.
Okay.
It's a very interesting story. It does play up a lot of like those horror tropes type things, because you're just kind of like literally just thrown into this mess where you're a detective, and then there's this hospital, and then everything just kind of goes sideways, and you're upside down, and there's a dude with a chainsaw. It's a mess.
It sounds like typical horror game type genre.
Exactly. And where most horror games just usually rely on like cheap jump scares, oh my gosh, the exploration and things like that, The Evil Within does a very good job of creating this mystery as its narrative, because it jumps around all over the place. There's scary things happening, and it leaves you wanting more, because you're like, what's going on? I need to figure out what's going on, otherwise I'm not going to be satisfied with this game.
Right. So there's a lot of twists and turns in this game.
Exactly. And
So why is the detective in the hospital to begin with? Is he trying to find someone or investigate something?
it starts out as he's investigating a case, or like they
Okay.
got this call at the hospital, like a bunch of officers have gone missing, things like that. I can't really remember the specifics, but
Okay.
then him and his squad go over to the hospital, and then it just kind of spirals down like that,
Hell breaks loose.
basically.
Okay.
And what I do appreciate, though, is that they do keep most of the horror in the actual game. That makes it kind of like intense and like, oh my gosh, what's going on? Because of, this is an awesome segue, into the atmosphere of the game.
Right.
So the story and the atmosphere are kind of really tied together, because realistically speaking, the atmosphere of the game is very dark and kind of spooky. And that kind of adds to the mystery, as like all these characters are interacting with one another. There's like this random hospital as your save point. It's like, what the hell is going on here? And I think they really nailed the atmosphere, because especially too, they introduced some gameplay mechanics like sparse ammo and things like that. So in that way, you're like, oh my gosh, this is hard. What's going on? I am scared, but at the same time, I am going to win this game, because it's a game and I can beat it.
Of course. And you got to get through it in the hospital as well. You said about Resident Evil 4 that... Okay, you mentioned Resident Evil 4. Why did you mention Resident Evil 4?
I mentioned Resident Evil 4. Thank you for bringing that up. I totally forgot about it.
I'm a good broadcast journalist. That's why I'm here.
Yeah, apparently. Can I see your degree, please?
Yeah, let me just go download it from fakedegree.com.
Oh, okay, cool. FakeDegree.com. I use that website all the time, too. It's great.
That's how I got through
putting it
college.
on a resume. Okay, so Resident Evil 4, why I brought that up at the beginning, was because that was considered to be one of the best Resident Evil games of all time, correct?
Yes, correct. Hands
A
down.
lot of the game developers left Capcom after I think Resident Evil 5 happened, just because they weren't happy with the direction it was going. And so they kind of banded together with, I think it's 2K or Bethesda. I think it's Bethesda, actually, that
I
published
think you're
the game.
right. Yeah, because I remember one of the achievements you done was about Ala Corvo, which
Yeah,
is based off Dishonored.
yeah, you're right.
I can remember useless crap, but I can't remember
apparently.
some of my friends' birthdays.
Well, hey, David, when's my birthday?
Febtober 39th.
And you're totally correct. Thank you for remembering my birthday.
Got him. Put that on the scoreboard.
I'll make a scoreboard right now.
Yeah.
So they banded together under Bethesda and made this game. So what they wanted to do was pull away from the whole like Resident Evil style of like shoot 'em up type deals and move back towards this dark and spooky side, which I think they did a really good job because they introduced a lot of bosses that are incredibly creepy and just like generally messed up things. Even the DLC for this game, they introduced really like creepy things that I don't really know how to describe except things that come straight out of your nightmares.
Yes, I have some very spooky nightmares, so hopefully it's not in this game, just to be sure.
Just to be sure, yeah. You can never be too safe.
Right. You mentioned the DLC. What's the DLC about? Is it to follow along with the storyline of the original game? It does follow
up on the storyline. It actually continues the storyline, but I don't want to give too much of that away because as soon as you start, like... If you look at some of the trailers for the DLC, it'll spoil pretty much the ending of the game. So I don't want to give any of that away. Yes. It's a little unfortunate, but it's just add-on stories to the main game. And speaking of the main game, let's quickly talk about the gameplay mechanics of it.
Okay.
It's really interesting because they did borrow heavily from like the classic Resident Evil over-the-shoulder type style of shooters.
Right.
The thing is that, like I mentioned earlier, they made ammo and equipment a little bit more sparse. And on top of that, too, you can actually, like, craft things together, like bombs. I think you can, like, make a couple traps. You know, little things like that to try and alter your methods from just going in and blowing the dude's head off. Because generally speaking, you won't have enough ammo to do that.
Yes, of course.
And they also introduced something that I thought was an incredibly good decision into this game. And Resident Evil might want to take a couple hints. I'm not going to suggest anything. But
take down the notes.
They added a kind of level progression system. Where basically, as you go around, you collect like this like goo stuff, and then you go into an electric chair, and you can upgrade your abilities. Now it can be anything from like your health to your stamina to upgrading your weapons, making them do some more damage. You can hold more bullets in a single clip, you know, things like that.
So it's got some RPG elements into it.
It does have RPG elements in it, but the thing is that I think in one playthrough, you are unable to max everything out all at once, so you have to be careful with what you pick. Like, you don't want to waste your green goo stuff on the wrong thing, otherwise it's going to cause a little bit more problems. So that makes you have to think about these things a little more, and it also makes you a little bit more aware of kind of what you're doing.
Right. It makes you strategize on what you want to do in the future. So
exactly.
Is it one of those things that if you favor one side, it can really mess up your game progression?
I mean, if you favor one side, here's another thing that I should mention. When I played the game, I played it on like the hardest difficulty possible because I'm an asshole.
Of course. And you're a masochist.
Generally speaking, I'm pretty sure that if you do play it on easy, then the level progression system won't affect you too much. Right. But I found on my playthrough on like the harder difficulties, you got to be a bit more careful about it because I'm not like the best video game player in the world, so I can't just like mad juke everyone and like hit them with my guns and stuff like that.
I think it's safe to say 90% of the Let's Play community are not the greatest video game players of all time. So
well, speak for them. I'm not going to say anything about that.
I'll say it. I mean, if they're not bold enough, I'll say it.
Oh,
so
man.
Shoot.
How many fights are you going to get into?
Put your comments right here, guys. Put your comments right here. I'll see them in the Discord chat later on.
Oh boy. So they did a really good job with the level progression system. The only complaint that I do have about this is that, you know, it's a little bit glitchy and buggy, and some of the animations are not, like, up to par. Like when you get hit and stuff, and you're, like, moving around trying to dodge out of the way, sometimes you'll get stuck on the geometry. But if you take that aside and you consider the game as a whole, I would highly recommend it. I had a really fun time playing it.
Well, hopefully with the updates, and it's been like a year since the game's released. Hopefully with all the updates, they already fixed that already. And I believe there's a Game of the Year edition, if I'm not correct.
I think there is, because I'm pretty sure there was a total of 4 DLC packs. Don't quote me. Wow. It might be 3.
Okay. Well, that's still pretty good, though. Yeah. I mean, and I'm pretty sure you can get it for cheap as well. So.
Okay, David. So, if you got this game for free, would you play the game?
Oh, yeah.
Based on
absolutely.
The description.
Absolutely.
Okay, awesome. And what made you want to play the game?
Mostly because of Resident Evil 4. I have great memories of Resident Evil 4, and I just like the idea of going into a creepy hospital, a la what is it, Outlast or something that scary game. I like the idea of just going to this to a hospital, trying to find out what freaky thing is going on.
To be fair, I should clarify, the game does not take place only in the hospital. That's
even more intriguing then. So you're not giving away much.
Resident Evil 4 town type deal. Then you're in like some churches, you're in some sewers, you know, all the classic areas.
No, very good. It's that you're telling me there's even more to the hospital, so that's it. I like it already. So
Okay. All right, well, I guess that just about wraps it up. Evil Within, I'd highly recommend it. And hey, if you need any help with those achievement guides, you can check back at some of the old videos on this channel. Wink, wink,
Yeah.
nod, nod.
Yep, and we need the likes, guys. Please,
Yeah, we do. Please,
Please.
we're starving.
please.
Okay, well, yeah, once again, that's about it. Check out the Evil Within. It's a fun game, and I think they might have announced a sequel or hinted at something. So,
Really?
Yeah. The ending left it very open-ended. So, yeah, I definitely check the game out. Thank you
Better
guys
play
for
it now,
watching.
kids.
Yeah. Go
But
shoot
please.
things. Please.
Please watch our videos.
Please.
Please.